Hello, you beautiful souls and smiley peoples. I'm making this video at the request of those who might possibly be helping me with Hope for Hats. Now, what is Hope for Hats? Well, before I tell you that, let me give you a little backstory about myself. I was raised in foster homes. I was in 5 homes by the time I was 5. My fifth foster home was a preacher and his wife, and they were Southern Independent Baptists, and they were real strict. And we believed what we believed, and we traveled around on crusades and sang and preached at churches all over the United States. I think my most scaredest place I sang when I was a little girl was Cobalt Hall in Detroit, Michigan. It was it must have been a huge car factory or something. All I know is it was huge, and I was scared to death to sing. And then after we had our crusade, we had a table where we sold tapes and records and books, for our ministry, Janny's Crusade for Christ. But anyway, so my point is, we ate, slept, and pooped church. I went to private school, everything. We ate, slept, and pooped church. We were big in this community here in Bridgeton. We were, big in this community in the 80s. Okay, in 1986, this preacher finally gets arrested for child abuse and child molesting. All right, it was a big deal back in the day. So, because they got arrested, I ended up homeless on the streets. Despite being homeless, I rose above it all to become a registered nurse. That's a whole book in and of itself, right? So, but because my foster dad did what he did, I didn't go to church for 34 years. All right. So, like 3 or 4 months ago, I said to myself, I want to go to church. I was raised in church. Um, you know, now that I just wanted to come back to God. So I wanted to pick a church that was non-judgmental. And I said, hey, the Salvation Army has a church. Let me go there. Well, I went there, and they were so sweet. They were so nice. They accepted my dog in the church. I have a service dog. And they accepted my dog in the church. I'm disabled now. I walk with a walker, so I need the service dog. And they accepted the dog despite the fact that a church is allowed to say no to your service dog. I don't know if you knew that. But a religious church is allowed to say no to your service dog. Well, they were so sweet to me with the service dog. They came up and hugged me. They came up and, invited me to potluck. They were just so sweet. They were so sweet that said, hey, I want to volunteer because they need help. They need an assistant. They don't have a secretary or they don't have an assistant. She went off and got, I don't know what, but for some reason they need somebody to help them answer the phones and do things. They need volunteers. The Salvation Army always needs volunteers. So if you find yourself with nothing to do, reach out to your local Salvation Army. They could definitely use your help in some way. Because you live in a big community and they're trying to help the community, just like I'm trying to help my community. So, anyway, getting back to my story. So, I now answer the phones for our local Salvation Army Tuesdays 9 to 5 and Fridays 9 to 2. Well, and we also offer free breakfast on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I believe, but I'm only there on Fridays, so I can only speak for what I see. So, as the people come up to get their breakfast, one gentleman, one one gentleman needed asked for a hat. Well, we don't have any hats. Okay, see, your local Salvation Army depends on donations from your community. Okay, our community is very socially and economically depressed. So we don't have a lot of things. It's simple things, right? So, so we had to tell this gentleman that we didn't have a hat. Okay, and so he got his breakfast and walked away. Um, when I answer the phones, we have to tell people come in ask me all the time, do you help with can you help me with my rent, can you help me with my utilities? Now the Salvation Army does help with that, but if you live in a socially economically depressed area, you don't have the funds to give the people the utility money or the rent money. So I always have to say no and give them other resources, and they start crying. Some of them start crying, and all I can do sometimes is say a prayer for them, because that's all we have is prayer. We don't have any funds. There was another lady who called in. Now this is a happy story. This was another lady called in and asked about the food bank, and I got to talking to her, and she was elderly. No, she asked about the the senior social, and so I got to talking to her, and she was elderly, so. Um, she walks with a cane, I walk with a walker, so we were making that connection. And I said, yeah, I'll see you at the senior social. Somehow, she Oh, I told her I was going to teach a diamond painting class in November at the senior social. And she said, "Yeah, I diamond paint, blah blah blah." So that was a happy story. So I'm going to give her my diamond paintings to paint guys and pay her a couple bucks. So if you get a diamond painting from me, I might not have diamond painted it. I might have paid to have it diamond painted, but we'll see. So anyway, I'm very excited to meet her. Okay, so the reason I'm coming to you today is because we need hats. I felt bad for the guy that took his breakfast and we couldn't give him a hat. We couldn't give him, and so because I remembered Lisa A, who made a beautiful hat and scarf for me, and gloves, and a bedspread, and slippers. She crocheted them. Lisa A, you guys, I think she's big in your group. I'm not sure. Very good friend of mine. Very sweet lady. Anyway, I took it to the Salvation Army, and I was bragging it up. Where is it? Hang on, let me get it. Hang on, let me show you. So, guys, I want to show you what the hat Lisa made for me. And I was so proud of you, Lisa. I was bragging you up. Okay, this is my little Salvation Army bag. Anyway, Lisa, the Bible says that pride, not to be proud, but boy, was I proud of you, girl. Let me show you. This is for those of you who are new to my channel or watching this to help me for Hope for Hats. Look at this hat. Isn't this pretty? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now look at this scarf. Look at Lisa made me this. Look at this. Okay, put it on like this. Look at this. Isn't this cool? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. I was showing the captain and the major this and some people that crochet. Look, glove. And I was all, look, isn't this gorgeous? Isn't this gorgeous? And they're like, yeah, it's gorgeous. Tell Lisa to come to our crafting crafting get-togethers. Um, and so they wanted to have a crafting, like maybe craft. Um, well, a lot of people in the church don't know how to craft. So we were trying to teach them how. Well, not me. I don't crochet at all. But we're just brainstorming about crocheting and making hats and scarves and gloves uh, because we felt bad about the guy who walked away with no hat. So I took to the airways and I'm like, hey, the Salvation Army is always saying hope starts here. So let me do a hope for hats. So I made up a little hope for hats, as you see. Um, and I asked my friends, can you guys, tell me what kind of yarn to put on the wish list? Can you tell me what kind, because I knew nothing about yarn. So naturally, I went to Lisa A, and she told me, explained to me a little bit about it. And other people did too. And even this lady in the church tried to explain it to me. But it was Greek. I didn't know what she was talking about. But anyway, Lisa and everybody else on YouTube set me in the right track. There's even a Voice of Reason who told me some resources. Lisa told me you're a resource, strings and threads. So, I'm going around, seeing all the resources, trying to see what I can do because we don't even have the finances for yarn. We might have enough finances for some yarn to get us started, but how are we going to sustain ourselves in the long run, right? How are we going to do that? We're going to go to the community. So, I figured I would take the yarn, and when I'm talking on the phone about the senior social or maybe, the food bank or something, I could say, hey, do you know anybody who crochets? Could you make us, um, could you make the Bridgeton Salvation Army some hats? So I was planning on giving the yarn out to the community who, wants to help us. And then we could also use the yarn to crochet, but I think there's only 2 people in the church that know how to crochet. And, they're busy with the church. We're a very tiny church, only 18 people, 15 people, something like that. So that's why I'm reaching out to you, the community, you who is watching this video. Let's do Hope for Hats. If you know how to crochet, you can send the actual hats to me. I live right down the street from the Salvation Army. Bridgeton is only 6 miles in radius. Uh, so I think the Salvation Army is two miles away. So it's no problem if you send it to me, and I'll send it to the Salvation Army. Um, or I'm answering the phone, so I'll take it to them. But I'm a volunteer, so I can do that. So I will give it to them that way. If you don't know how to crochet, and that's why I have my PayPal. You could totally trust me with PayPal. Um, Lisa A has known me for years, but I understand you don't feel comfortable giving somebody, PayPal money, right? You know, giving somebody cash. So if you don't feel comfortable giving somebody cash, you could write out a little check to Salvation Army, and I will give the check to the Salvation Army in Bridgeton. Um, um, what else can you do? Okay, I made a Amazon registry with the yarn and the hats on the Amazon registry. Of course, Thanksgiving is coming up and Christmas is coming up, so there might be some Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff on there. Um, and let's see what else. I also made a Walmart registry. That's what you see. And again, I need hats, yarn. I think I have scarves, gloves on there. Not scarves. The scarves on Amazon and Walmart are a little too expensive. Tell me what you think. Should I put scarves on there for the needy? Let me know. This is just my way of helping the church, my personal way. Now, I'm going to tell the captain about it, and of course, you're going to get a shout out. All of you will get a shout out, whoever, gives the hats, scarves, gloves. But we have so many needs, but I can't worry about all of our needs. I'm just worrying about the the gentleman who came and got breakfast and we couldn't give him a hat. We couldn't give him a hat because we didn't have a hat. Now, some people have donated monies already, and I was raised $150 through some of my friends. So thankfully, I'm going to go to, well, that was PayPal, but that PayPal, I have a credit card, so I'm going to go to the local um, uh, like Dollar Tree or something like that, and get some hats and scarves and gloves immediately. I also ordered some on Amazon to show you uh, what the hats and mittens look like that you funded me for. And but the problem is I don't drive, see, because I have a disability now. Um, well, I was born with cerebral palsy, a mild cerebral palsy, but now that I'm getting older, it's starting to come back to bite me in the butt. All right, so it's a balance issue for me, and I live alone, so I have a service dog for protection, and for if I fall, I fall. Sometimes I fall. The dog alerts and barks. The dog helps me with my anxiety. I have a lot of triggers. I have a lot of anxiety, so. Um, but that's what my service dog is for. So this is why I'm just reaching out for your help with the hats, scarves, and I and mittens. But well, I guess if you're needy, if you're homeless, you really can't wear mittens. You really need gloves. So because they pick up things off the. I mean, I watched no judgment, but I watched them in the camera, and oh well, that's a story for another day. But I think mittens would get in their way. They need gloves, and so I have gloves on the Amazon and Walmart registry. So if you don't feel comfortable hitting up my PayPal, send a check to the Salvation Army, and just write it out to the Salvation Army. And we'll definitely put it to good use, because our Salvation Army is so well, it's got missionary status. Missionary status. Your Salvation Army is only as good as the people around it, right? So if you live in a socioeconomically depressed area, you're gonna have missionary status. So please help the Salvation Army in Bridgeton through me. I would appreciate it, and God bless you. And as the Salvation Army says, hope starts here. So thank you, Lisa, for helping me out, for giving me hope that I can give a hat to the guy when he comes for breakfast. Doing the most good. That's what we're all doing. That's what the Salvation Army says, doing the most good. So by making these hats and crocheting these hats and donating whatever you're going to donate, you're doing the most good for the Lord, right? And there's one other thing that I learned in church. Heart to God, hand to man. Heart to God, your heart's in the right place. So I'm gonna take my hat and give it to man. Heart to God, hand to man. Lisa, but I couldn't give this one. But I was thinking about giving this one. I said, no, 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 no. Lisa made this for me. Dude, I'll try and get you another hat. This one's mine. Because I used to be homeless, you know? So I really appreciate these small things, you know? So, all right, guys. God bless. Let's all do what we can do. You know, hope for hats. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for everybody who's donated already, because I can, go buy that guy a hat for right now. But in the long run, what are we going to do? We're going to run out of hats. We want to do a crochet class, but we're going to run out of yarn. So that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about the long run. So your donations are always helpful in any way, shape, or form. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video, you beautiful souls. Thank you.